Hello, everybody. It's Marcy from wavesofcommunication.com, and I'm here with another Coaching from the Couch video for all of you on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. I want to welcome everybody. Whew, golly, I'm just getting my breath. It's been really a very busy, energetic week. I think certainly for the planet, because of the astrology. We've had eclipses, Mercury's in retrograde, we've got a square with Saturn and Uranus, so there's lots of change going on right now. And I did a little video yesterday to kind of let everybody know that changes are probably affecting your life in some way or another. So if that's the case, this is potentially a good video for you to join me on. I'm hanging out today here on my platform, on my Waves of Communication platform, to help parents. So here is, first of all, really quick, I want to introduce myself just to let everybody know. Welcome you all here. If you're joining live or on the replay, my name is Marcy Melzer. I'm an intuitive speech and language pathologist and language facilitation consultant, and I help parents all over the world teach your children, yourself, how to use the unprompted spoken language that you're looking for. No matter what you are trying so far, language facilitation is working for parents all over the world. And that's what I want to do here. So how I'm going to show you out, if you are joining me for the first time or even if you're coming back, this is the best way for you to get help today. And I see that questions are already coming in, so that's going to be brilliant. So here is the best way for you to receive advice from me today is by giving me some information so that I can learn. Obviously, I don't know you, I don't know your family. Even if you've been following my videos for a while, hopefully some things have been going on in your life that have caused some change in behavior, hopefully positive change. And I'm going to help you learn what to do with that, know what's going on, and moving forward. So here's what you're going to do in the comments of this video right now. I'm able to see them no matter where you're commenting from. And what I'll do is I'll pull them up on the screen and we'll talk through your issues. And if I need more information, then I can get it. But this is the minimum. So I need your child's age. How do you know what your child wants? So basically, what is your child using to communicate right now? Because we need to know where they are now to know where to take them. And then what's frustrating you? So you've been working or not, or trying something, obviously, and what's frustrating you about that process, and then, what action have you taken so far? So that's going to be important for me to know about your case so that I can help you with, getting some of that situation solved for you, okay? And let's get into it. All right, I'm going to pop this off and move over to the comments because I already have a comment coming in from someone, so you can see an example of the kind of questions that you can ask today. And so she's got a lot of them, and what was great about this new platform that I have is I can pop these comments right up here on the screen so you can see them together with me. All right, so the first one is from Vinu. Thank you for joining me, Vinu, again, I should say. Vinu is from India, and she is taking the independent study course. Now, she says here that she's quite satisfied to be on the right path. However, mindset traps still hold me back at times, which is really an important thing about this process. That's one of the reasons that the platform is called Waves of Communication, because there's lots of ups and downs in the process. And that's one of the reasons that I do these monthly check-in videos, because even if you are investing in the book or the independent study program, or you've been watching YouTube videos, on your own and learning from the things that I've been talking about this month or in other videos you've been watching, and you want to know how to apply those to your life. If you're struggling, if you're stuck with one of those, because most of the videos that I produce are general strategies where you are required in your family, because every child situation, every family situation is different. Maybe even if you have twins. In fact, I just signed on a family that has twins, and both of these kids are late talking, for the same reasons, but it's manifesting in different ways in both of them. And part of the reason that they are late talking is that they're twins, and that's an environmental situation that that family has to deal with. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about more. So here we go. Venus provided so much information to help us understand her case. It makes us very helpful. And the other reason that I like to do these coaching sessions, these coaching from the couch sessions, is because they're very much like the sessions that I do with my paying clients that are in my lifetime program. We work through things in a community so that other people can sort of watch as I help that mom work through things, because I promise you, I've looked at Venu's question, and her situation is very common. So multiple parents are potentially going to benefit from me answering this one question. And that's why Venu's so generous to help us do it in a, sort of community way. So I love that. Thank you. All right. So she took the course in January end, but started implementation by March only because life happens, and she lost steam, but she's now getting back on track. So there is number one. The two things that she said are really an important thing I just want to call out and sort of give a shout out to. I forgot my chimes today. I have everything else, but I've got my mug that says live less out of habit and more out of intent. And that's really what Venu is doing here, right? Because she's making some differences in her life, realizing that her mindset traps kick in sometimes. We all get triggered. We all do. And then it causes you to subconsciously slip into old habits and behaviors that might take you off your journey, or at least make you second guess yourself. You might be doing everything fine, but just even like I said, the astrology is all causing us to sort of think and rethink and guess and second guess. And you might be hearing different comments from other people, because if you're doing language facilitation properly, your child's behavior is changing in a good way, or it's changing, like I said. And so when their behavior changes, that's what's going to be really important for you to move on. So let's get into Venu's question, because she has a very important question to ask. Her 3-year-old, 38 months to be precise, so just over, is now almost for a fortnight. He is repeating words we say, which is yay. That's brilliant. So here is a child who as I remember from previous comments, wasn't doing a lot of talking at all. Okay, and just now, Venu has kind of dug back into her strategies, probably been watching those independent study videos again, getting back on track, deciding to join and ask a question. And so she may have been more conscious lately about maybe not prompting as often, asking fewer questions and giving more explanation. And so now, instead of pulling words out, she's offering words to her child, and she's hearing them repeat. So, which, first of all, is a great thing. Now, here's what's happening, right? Because Venu's second guessing this new communication behavior, which is all of a sudden when she says, go get your shoes, the child says shoes. Or give me your hand, the child says hand. Or look at this blue, ball, and the child says ball or blue or something like that. Now, here's what she says. I don't know if we should call it, because first of all, what Venu's doing here, which is great, is she's analyzing. She's analyzing our situation. I hear something different from my 3-year-old child. I've done something different in my language models. I'm hearing something different from my child. And what it is the same thing he's hearing. So he's imitating anyway. So it seems so, and I shouldn't call it immediate echolalia, but it seems so by the definition, Marcy. Please help me understand if this is a good thing. Is he on the right track? And what else can tell us? As far as my efforts go, I know I'm not doing enough to reach and teach, and still not enough, but yes, I do make sure I'm not prompting or expecting. He's not on the autism spectrum, right? So let's see. I think that's the last of yours. And then I see another question coming in. So what I want to talk about this is, first of all, I have done a video on my channel about language development patterns that freak out parents, right? There are 7 normal developmental speech patterns that can freak out parents. And this is one of those, because whenever I hear a parent use a term like echolalia, so she's like, it seems like the definition, which means that, oops, wait, here's the one. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it seems so by the definition, which means that Vino has fallen into the number one mindset block of when she sees her child's behavior, she's using some external means to evaluate that behavior. She went to a checklist. Wait, it could be echolalia. She's thinking, why is my child saying the words that I'm saying? And what she did, instead of looking for a reason that could be happening or coming to ask me, which is the better solution, right? She went to look on her own. What could be the reason behind this? Why would my child want to say the same thing that I'm saying? And that's not what I'm asking him to do. Obviously, you're not prompting him to say cookie. However, you previously did prompt your child to say cookie. And without seeing video, I can't know, but one of 2 things is happening when your child starts to say the things that you are saying. Number 1, the thing that's happened. Vinu says she's not doing as much reach and teach as she wants, but she's doing enough, because what's happened is she's found out what her child is interested in looking at, touching, eating, seeing, thinking about, and she's talking about those things. And that's causing her child, who previously wasn't even listening to her, because it could have been that he was avoiding her prompting, like he didn't like those questions anymore. And then she stopped asking those questions, and now she's a more attractive communication partner. What she has to say is not, there's no pressure. Come on, look at me. I'm doing things. Oh, look at you. You're doing things. You have things. You're thinking about things. Oh, you're worried about things. She's talking about the things that he's thinking about. And she's right, because what usually happens when you think about talkers, people like you and your girlfriends, or you and your parents, or you and your partner, you have conversations about things. You do it because you agree. Let's agree on this idea. That's what a conversation is about. And that's what language facilitation is about. Do you agree on this idea? This is a blue ball. It's a cool blue ball. I like this blue ball. Let's watch it bounce together. Boom. Look, it bounced. Blue balls can bounce. Balls don't only have to be blue. They can be other colors, right? That's a conversation about this blue ball that your child is interested in. When you talk about that, instead of just expecting it's a blue ball, say blue ball, right? So what happened is her expectation changed. She used to maybe say blue ball, those things, and her child does know that it's blue and it's a ball, and probably even those things like bounce or whatever may have heard those things before. But now that he's not expected to come up with the answer to the question, he is agreeing with the statement that she has. So it doesn't sound like an adult would or a talker would. It sounds like someone who's actually learning from that language is talking. So it looks like this. You say, look at my blue ball, blue. And that's not directed at you. Hopefully that's not too loud. It's lawn day on Thursdays around where I live. Hopefully it's not too loud. But so what I'm saying about the situation is that it's not an echolalia. An echolalia is, by definition, a child using a communication behavior or word or phrase that they heard before to communicate something else that is a different meaning altogether, right? and they're using it as a memorized bit to bring to you to say things, or they're using it as a tool, a self-stimulation tool to remind themselves of the things they want to think about, because there's no one in their environment saying those things over and over again, like they like to watch videos over and over again. So for example, a true echolalia would not be related to what you are saying. It wouldn't be the same thing that you are saying, because you are stimulating that imitation, not your child in themselves, right? So the difference between them bringing it to the table and some new thing or some self-talk that kids will do, people may think that even self-talk is echolalia, but it's not. What it is practice. All of that imitation is practice. It's just practice out loud, your child wanting to say those words, because at that time, those words that you're modeling are examples of words that the child might exactly say in that moment. If you're talking about the blue ball, you want your child to join your conversation. That's the whole point of your language facilitation. And the good news is that it's happening for you. You're saying, look at the blue ball, and you're getting blue ball. And that means you're right, Mom. It is a blue ball. I like that blue ball. Yes, talk more, right? That's what that means. Talk more about the blue ball. You're right. You're on the right track. You're talking about what I'm thinking about, and I want to hear more. Now, what parents sometimes do, like Vinu happened in this situation, was she decided that, that's not the behavior I expected. That's not the talking I expected. It must be some deviant pattern. And it's not. That's why I told you about that video that I did. I should mark it in here after I go back and edit. It's literally 7 different speech patterns that emerge in kids who are late talkers because they are doing their first ever try at talking. It's their first ever independent way to practice saying these words that they know without a prompt, without you pulling it out. It's their way to say, let me try. I want to say that. I want to join this conversation. So what you do when you hear your child give you anything, even if it's not a whole word, in Vinu's case, it might be just the same word or the exact same phrase. In a child who's very late talking or really reluctant or has just getting started, it might just be sounds. It might be even gestures that are the very first tries you get at what you see is true, what I call pop out talking. And these pop out tries at spoken language are your child's first ever attempts at using their own spoken language. And what they're doing when they give them to you. So sometimes what you have to do is you have to see, is the child saying it out loud to you as a way to prompt you to say things more, or are they saying it to themselves? For example, I see, Vinu, that you are not a potentially native English speaker since you live in India. So English may be your second language. When you were first learning English, it was not natural to you. And I'm sure you made a lot of mistakes when you were trying. And how you learned the best of your useful, like the phrases that worked for you. Give me that. Please help me. Come with me. I don't like that one, right? Those phrases that you paired with the lists of vocabulary that you learned in school, colors, numbers, shapes, just like your child has, right? Learned all those nouns and labels for things. It wasn't until you watched other people using good English that you learn how to say those things for yourself in a way that you were confident enough to combine them with the vocabulary you already know, like tea. Give me tea. I want water. Please help me find this item, right? If you had to go to the store, you had to like use those phrases that got you your needs met. And this is where your children will be trying out the phrases that will meet their needs. Now, their needs may be entertainment, their needs may be comfort, their needs may be food and drink, their needs may be, manipulating you to do things their way, because depending on how sophisticated their ideas are, how old they are, even 3-year-olds have very sophisticated ideas about how they want things and how they're doing things. And the more you dig into that reach and teach, like Venu's talking about, and why, the whys and becauses of your child's behavior. Why is he doing it that way? Why is he saying that word again? And the reason that you have to look at is not outside and on a checklist because it's called something. It's like, why is that a useful thing for my child to do? Because your child's not stupid. Your child learns from behaviors and actions and jobs all around them. That's how your child learned everything they learned so far, right? They saw someone else doing it successfully. They thought it was a good idea that they wanted to try that, and they got up and tried it. That's how they walked. That's how they've learned everything, no matter how old your child is. If they're 28, same thing. Everything they've learned, everything we learn, we try for ourselves and decide, this is something I can try. This is something I can dig into. This is something I can focus on. This is something I can develop. And then we do, right? And it doesn't happen before. It doesn't happen before we decide, which is why I started this little Venu Q&A with the kudos to Venu, because she knows she needs to make a change. She knows she needs to do something different. She needs to leave some behaviors behind. And she needs to analyze, why am I doing those old behaviors? Why do I keep going back to those things? Or why are they so appealing to me even? Why am I tempted to Google everything every time I see my child do something? Even though you say right here, he is not autistic. Do you really believe that? Because you're still talking about echolalia and autism characteristics. So you need to leave all that behind. And that's how you get more into your child's language facilitation zone. And you can watch that video, because imitating, parroting, getting kids past the parroting stage, there's one even, you can see I have a graphic of a parrot sitting on my shoulder, helping kids get past that parroting stage. It's on another Q&A, I think, because this is a common stage, and it freaks parents out. And if you freak out, then you'll get off your journey. You'll go back to doing those things because you're worried that maybe there is something, maybe they were right, maybe. And maybe what if worry is your mindset that would take your activity straight back to the things that are not helpful for you and your child. So hopefully, Venu, that was helpful for you. I see some more great things coming in. So here's the next question we've got going from Ria. Ria says, hi, I'm Ria from Dubai. My son is 4 years and 2 months. My son is not at all interested in any kind of sitting activity with me. Okay. And then she says, as soon as I leave him for independent play, he will just play like kicking the things, pushing and pulling the things. All right. Oh, there's a little bit more. Or he will just lie on the bed and sing. He loves to sing a lot. Okay, so that's really good. He tells about his needs and very good in articulation, but he doesn't talk much and repeats the sentences from TV. All right, so there is a case where he probably is using echolalia, okay, because the situation here, I'm just going to leave this up because this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah, and this. First, we're going to start this. So what happens is we've got so first of all, really quick, there's Venu who says it's super helpful. Marcy, you're divine. Venu, thank you. I'm super glad that you were able to join me and watch and get that advice. Watch those other videos look for the one about parroting. You can even keyword in my YouTube channel. Just go there, go to the little magnifying glass, type in the keyword echolalia, type in the keyword speech patterns and freak out and things like that. Scroll through and you'll see them, or look through the playlists too. You can see. I know that there are many, many videos, but the keyword option works pretty well for parents to be able to find things in their current strategy. Because the thing is, this may come and go. You may have this repeating stage. They're all phases. Every single one of these videos you may come back to because they're all phases, because it's all habits. It's all habits, mindset habits, turn into physical habits. Physical habits stick a long time, and then they cause us to have needs that we think we need to keep, and addictions and things like that. So it all starts with mindset change. So this is where we're going to help Rhea. Okay, so Rhea's talking about her son's 4.5, and he does not want to sit to do things. So this is a very common problem for kids who are late talking. And what Vinu talked about with the idea about the not being able to sit and, prompting and changing and the ups and downs and not spending as much time as she wanted with the reach and teach. So that's really where we've got to go. First of all, in my book, let me just show you all really quick. There are lots of ways that you can help me out on my platform right now. I just want to remind you really quick, while you're watching, if you're interested in giving back, there are ways to help me. Just give back for this kind of coaching session. Free things all the way up to investing. But every bit of investment that you make in the platform, even joining me to make a comment like Vinu did, is helpful. So like I said, these are the ways that you can help my platform and keep me able to do these things for you, because this is all I do out of pocket. Please like this video. Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the notification bell. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people because they think they're fake. So make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell, then you're notified every time. And I'm also going to be doing more random short-term help tips and shorts. So make sure that you're subscribed. Watch more videos. Just like I said, all you got to do is, when you leave this, if I helped you today, share this video to also watch another one. Go see another one. Anytime you spend watching videos helps my platform. Comment with your testimonial if you benefited, if you learned something. Hey, that was great. It helped me do XYZ for my child. Not only does that help me know that my strategies are working for you, it also helps other parents to know, hey, that's the kind of thing that works and I want to try it for myself. Share a video. Like I said, if you see one that's great, share it on your social media. I just did one about hair cutting. If you see people who have questions in groups, share one of my YouTube videos that you watched with them, because they're easy. You don't even have to type out the answers. Hey, watch this video. Just share it. Super chat. If you're on YouTube, you can super chat and, leave me a donation. Any donation is welcome on the platform, of course. On Amazon, you can go to Amazon and buy the book or online program. Here are just other ways you can reach out and just connect with me, right? My book is here on Amazon. In the comments of this video, you can find it. My MeWe group, Facebook group, excuse me. I have a podcast. I do interviews with parents, all of that. All right, so let me go back here and I'll pop this off. Woo. Yep, so if you want to ask me a question today, here's what you do. Comment with your child's age. Let me know how your child's communicating. How do you know what they want? What's been frustrating you? And what action have you taken so far? So we can help you take some new action, because if you keep doing what you do, you keep getting what you got. So let's talk about Rhea's situation, where let me pop this off. There we go. Okay. Oh, this technology. All right. So if you leave him alone, he will just play, like kicking things, pushing and pulling things, dumping things, throwing things, or lay around, right? Lay and sing. And he must love to learn. Obviously, he is saying things. So he lays on his bed and sings, and he sings a lot. He tells about his needs and is very good in articulation, but he doesn't talk much. So the problem, as I see, is you're struggling in finding ways to evolve this. And so you've got a child who is using some words. Here's a child who's saying things, who's singing songs, potentially even the whole song. And no matter where they are in that spectrum of it, it's not perfect, and it might not be appropriate for what is the thing that the child needs. So they might be, a lot of kids will use songs to request things. That's, again, what we would call a more true echolalic kind of situation. And the reason that kids do this, the reason that echolalia exists, is that it's because that's all they know, right? If you want a child to talk and you expect them to say words, the only words that they're going to be confident saying on demand or anytime actually are the words that they know. They know what they mean, or they give a meaning to the word. So for example, I had a family once that I worked with, and they knew all the colors by the names of the Muppets, the Sesame Street Muppets. So green was always Oscar, and that was really cute until the child wasn't sure what green is and what Oscar is, because there was a communication in that teaching, right? And then sometimes it happens on the opposite, where we go back to sort of like that foreign language teaching, where we teach these lists of vocabulary and then test those lists of vocabulary. And then what's happened in your child's school, because he's already 4.5, if he's been in some kind of therapy, they've used those memorized labels as the means for your child to communicate their wants and needs. So when they label the thing or point to the picture, whatever, to get the thing that they want, that's been the system that has been established in your household. And that's why it's not evolving. You have taught your child that words, single words, are for in exchange, to use in exchange to get the things you need. And there has been no training about how to talk about what you're excited about, or why even you are interested in kicking things and throwing things and dropping things or pouring things, or whatever the trend is that your child likes to do. So like I said, if you leave a child for an independent play, that's always your golden nugget. You have to observe and watch your child, and you have to see, well, why? What is so motivating to your child about these activities, the things that you leave them to do independently, right? What's motivating about it? Why do they need it? Just saying they're meeting a sensory need isn't enough. Which sensory need, and why do they have that sensory need? Because just saying a kid has autism or sensory integration, what kind of sensory integration? Some kids can't tolerate touch. Some kids need more touch. Some kids can't tolerate tastes. Some kids need more taste. There's hyper. Is your child trying to meet their sensory needs with these independent behaviors? And why do they have to do it independently? Because potentially you're not providing for them those opportunities. That's why when they get a break, whatever they go to do, when you offer them a break from whatever you're trying to make them sit and do, that is what you want to be using as your work. You don't need, because again, your child has to be motivated to work. Everyone has to be motivated to work. If I was going to offer you a job, you wouldn't show up unless it was worth your while. And what's going to motivate your child to sit with you when they have an alternative opportunity to go do whatever they want, right? So your opportunity has to be whatever they want. That's the only way that you get your child to sit with you, is by being so attractive that they can't help but want to join your party. And your party has the theme of what they're thinking about, what they're worried about, what they're excited about, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. All, I should say, not just both. It's everything. What motivates a child to communicate with people is when they want to share messages with that person. I want you to know how I feel. It's not just I want you to give me the things that will meet my needs. That's number one reason we do it. But with the people we love, like not the people we have to be around, our teachers or our bosses or even our friends, we have to accommodate those people because we choose those situations. But our loved ones, our parents, that's your go-to. That's your team. That's your family. And those kids expect you to be their safety net, their mom, their dad, their caregiver. They're one that saves them from everything because that's what you've been doing since they were born. And so every time they're cold or tired or hungry, just like before they were born, during that process and every moment since then, where do they go? They go to you. They go to you. And if you aren't meeting those needs, then they'll learn how to do it independently. And by 4.5, they've learned many, many ways to meet their needs independently. And you're not paying attention if you're not involved. And if your child won't let you become involved, then you got to parallel play. And in my book, it describes this process of reach and teach. I've even done videos on YouTube. That would be the videos that you would need to search for. How to reach your child where they are, thinking about whatever they're thinking about. And it might change in 30 seconds. And you have to be prepared to change in 30 seconds, depending on your child's attention span and how much in your history until this moment have you been so unattractive in your opportunities? Have the opportunities presented to your child been so boring, annoying, frustrating, angering? Like, has your child been in a situation where they've had things taken away from them? You know, like that happens a lot in therapies, ABA therapies. They take away all the good things. And then they give kids, it's on your thing. You can only have good things when it's on my terms, right? If you've had a lot of that, if your child has had a lot of that in their life, if they've had the experience of having their favorite things locked away where they can see and know that they are, and that they can't get them until it's time to work again, you know? They remember that. They remember that. So if that has been your case, you need to earn that trust again. You need to earn it back with your child because they won't. They won't trust you to join their play if they think you're going to take their favorite things away. They won't trust you. And every time you slide back into that, maybe you did it, but then you stopped. You stopped because you realized, wow, that's a big deal, right? Kids don't want their stuff taken away. So if you realize that that's what you've been doing or what your child's been through, maybe you didn't do it, but a therapist did. Maybe grandma did it. Maybe somebody did it once or twice or otherwise. You got to talk through that situation and remind your child, I'm giving you this and it's all yours. And you can enjoy it till it's done. And here are the boundaries around that thing. If it's their video time, you tell them how much they can have before. If it's their cookie or snack or whatever, you create the boundaries around those goodies. So there are rules. There are rules that your child knows ahead of time. Because if there is what you feel is manipulation, right, going on, that's because your child is mirroring the behavior that they've heard, just like Venu. They're going to start to imitate the things that work. And if your manipulation works, okay, they got me. They manipulated me. They got me again. You know, think about every time you got by somebody. Somebody manipulated you to do something that you didn't really want to do. And you do it anyway. You feel a little bummer about yourself. You're like, man, I let myself be manipulated. I'm never letting myself be manipulated again. I'm never going to let that happen to myself again. And so if you've got a child who's rebelling against you, they share that mindset. And mindset is everything. Because if your child is resistant to sitting and hanging out and playing with you, then you're going to have a challenging time teaching them the words they want to see because they're not going to share their ideas with you. They're going to keep them to themselves in their own little bubble. And that's how you get them out of their bubble, is reach and teach. So Rhea, that's where you need to start today. All right. Okay, I've got another question coming in from Facebook this time. On Facebook, you have to allow your name, so I can't see your name unless you allow it to do, but that's okay. We can keep it anonymous. It says, any advice on late talking pronunciation affecting beginning readers and spelling? We're seeing this in my kinder going into first grade. For example, he was spelling error in pronunciation, extra bruh for brother. Right. That's a great question. And about pronunciation. So I have done a couple videos about helping kids use their best speech talking, right? And that's what we want to do. And those will also help with this strategy. So what's happening with you, definitely want to use your, because what's happening is it's a combination of the sight word versus the phonics. And kids who are all listening without the visual memory are gonna have this period of time. So with reading, it is a little bit more complex, but what you can do, first of all, is to correct that pronunciation. When you correct the pronunciation, the process of correcting it is correcting listening. And when the listening improves, then this will fade, especially as your child develops the visual memory for the words over time, right? So if you are just sounding out words like brother, like that's a really big one because that TH, it's a whole other thing. And if you have the F, he's going to be looking for one letter that sounds like what he produces. So when kids spell things wrong due to mispronunciation, the first thing you can work on is the pronunciation yourself. And so the way that you do that in any case, no matter what kind of articulation issue is going on, kids leaving off the ends of words, kids saying bad R's, kids who can't do blends, kids who can't do anything, the same strategy works for everybody. And it's the number one strategy that I recommend. Slow down your speech models and have focused language facilitation time where you are demonstrating how these sounds sound. So if it is final consonants or the S or the R, you're going to choose books that have a lot of those consonants in them. You're going to choose especially if it's final consonants, like that final T at the end, things like that kids are dropping off. You want to pick like Bob books that have the ot and at and up and at the end, app at the end. Those that have a hard stop at the end of a word. So it's going to help both the child's articulation from a phonological process and the reading go through, because two things will be working simultaneously. Visual memory for looking at the words as you sound them out with your books or your ABCs or your phonics work. We're always sounding out words anyway, right? But it's a combination of after you sound it out, then you have to look at the word together. This is what brother looks like. Brother, not but It has to blend. That blend of the reading work with your very hyper slow speech models. So it happens separate. You pick the books, you read to the child without any expectation of them doing it. Remember, you are providing the model to them. This is how we read the book. Not let's read a book, start here. You always have to give your models first. This is the sentence. The cat ate a rat. That's how you're going to do that consonant. Focus on it. Here it is. Now you get a try. Lots and lots of models ahead of time. That is how you're going to be able to focus on your reading, articulation, and all of that at the same time. And it's practice, 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 practice. So whatever you get, that's why I love the Bob books. I know that they're a big recommendation from the Scholastic Company. Big, wonderful for both phonetics and phonics, right? So that you're going to learn, because they're short sentences and you want to always practice these sounds embedded into words that are embedded into phrases, because the co-articulation, meaning the vowels and consonants that are next to the other letters in a word, affect how those consonants are produced. That's why brother sounds like brother, right? Or whatever your child is spelling, bruffer, right? Or brother would be a V because it's a voice TH, right? All of those things, but he's doing the best he can to like But if he knew over and over again by reading, seeing what that word is beforehand, there's less likelihood that they're going to make the wrong choices when they're going to demonstrate their skills. So hopefully that will help you out. All right. Lots of people popping in and out. Thank you so much. Please, if you haven't already, like this video. I only see one like. Please like this video and tell me everything about your child. Let me know what's going on so that I can answer your questions. Okay, let's get back to the comments because we've got more coming in. Cynthia's here. And so she says that her son is 2.5 and he does a lot of tantrums. Okay, so this is pretty typical, again, of 2-year-old late talkers who are figuring out their world and don't have language to talk about it, right? So even sometimes he scratches himself. Oh boy. So he doesn't want what he gets when he doesn't get what he wants or the way he wants. And I try to talk to him a lot. So, and she also says, by the way, his dad was a late talker. So 2.5, it's interesting when we talk about kids that are 2.5 as late talkers, especially after I, have done all of this. Let me pop this banner off too so we can get, yeah. And by the way, just remember to post your questions in the comments if you've got them too. So now get back to this comment where we're talking about tantrums and what do we do, right? What do we do? So if you talk to him a lot and he's not listening, then there is a blockage. So tantrums come from not being able to communicate what you want. And basically, they really get triggered when the communication partner doesn't appear to understand us because they're frustration behavior. Tantrums are frustration behavior. So if you are talking, and the behaviors are going up, that means that what you're saying is not de-escalating the situation. With tantrums, now you have to really think about this. Why are they happening? What's happening? Now you're saying that they're triggered because your child's not getting what he wants or the way he wants it or whatever, which means that your child's not feeling listened to. That's the, no, you didn't do it my way. Now, it may be that you were not aware of what way your child actually wanted it. Like in their head, they were thinking, I want the blue cup, and you gave them the red cup because every other time they wanted the red cup and they decided today they wanted blue. So they take the cup from you and throw it, right? Now, what that tells me, and that's a really good example of what can happen to parents that blindsides them, because you have brought the opportunity, the communication opportunity based on your knowledge of what you have and not what the current situation is. And that means that you are in the habit of doing that. You are taking action based on historical data and not on the current situation. Because whenever, let's say, the waiter, you went to a restaurant, right? And you were there every week on Friday with your family for fish fry or something like that. And that was your, chips and, fish and chips every Friday is your thing, right? And today you decide you don't want to have fish and chips. You want to have something else. But the waitress just brings you fish and chips anyway, assuming that you want fish and chips, trying to be a good waitress, trying to anticipate your needs so that they get a bigger tip. But today you changed your mind because you heard the fish was bad, right? Or you ate a big lunch. You ate fish for lunch that day at work. You know what I mean? And the whole family was going, but you decide you want to eat something different. These are the kinds of dramas that happen in everybody's life, right? And you could, in that situation, react in a frustrated manner. I didn't tell you I wanted chips and fish, right? But you always wanted this before. So do you have a right to be upset with that person when they bring you the fish and chips? Well, the thing is, your child believes that they do, because historically, you met their exact need that they had in that moment. So they have come to expect you to know, read their mind, know what their need is in that moment. And if you don't meet that need, then you must have lost your mind reading superpowers, or you don't understand me. You must not understand me because you obviously brought me the wrong cup, or you did it the wrong way. You didn't give me what I obviously want, right? Because you haven't negotiated these things. Or maybe you say, like, the child wants to go outside. Here's a real situation. Child wants to go out and you can't. It's not time to go, right? For whatever reason. It doesn't matter. They want to go. It's not time to go. You got to eat. You got to go to bed. It's midnight, whatever. Okay. And so you say to the child, it's not time to go out, and you give them the rules. It's not time to go. It's time to blah, 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 blah. Does that help them? Right? It's a rationalization to the child. You're not meeting my needs. Every other time when I said, let's go out, you help me put my shoes and go. What's different about today? What's different about today? And so your reaction, the problem is there is something different about today. There is. But what usually happens with tantrums is the child takes you away from today into you didn't understand me, and then it shuts down. Then they stop listening. If you don't understand me, then I have to elevate my communication in some way to remind you that I have drama. You're not listening again. You did it wrong. Basically, you did it wrong. I came to let you know that I wanted something, I feel something, I'm doing something. Your late talking child is giving you all of that, all of it. And you have the opportunity to say, oh, you're telling me this. And get more information in that moment, even just from observing, right? But it is a mindset trap, habit blockage when you slide into old information. He wants this, he wants that, he wants whatever, and then you deliver the goods without confirming that, in fact, you are correct about your assumption or guess. So if you guess, okay, you look hungry, you look thirsty, you look whatever, you have to talk about that need. I think that you're thirsty because just like the waitress would have had a better outcome had she just asked, is everybody still having fish and chips today? And you said, no, you know what? Today I want something different. Would have got a bigger tip, right? That woman would have understood, I didn't want fish and chips. Now that woman's got to take the plate back and it's wasted, right? But had she done that inquisitive and used current information instead of historical information, it would be better situation at the restaurant, and you would have this situation in your household. So again, it's about reaching into where is your child, what do they need to communicate. You don't have to give them everything, but you do have to teach them the rules ahead of time before they stop listening. And so what you do is you have to be aware as that boiling is coming up. Oh, I know what he wants. And think, are you talking to someone else? Are you thinking that in your head and trying to think about how you're going to put out that fire or solve that problem before it kicks off? Or are you taking the interaction right then and there to solve the problem before it kicks off? Because once it kicks off, you got to go into stop, drop, and roll. So there are many videos on my channel about this situation, the same situation. I've just done one in the past month or so. Look for behaviors, look for tantrums, and you'll find videos that help you learn what to do when you're right in the middle of that and how to keep it from coming back, because you're going to have to start working through this drama and talking about the whys, talking about the hows, talking about what has caused this reaction to you, right? And how you can be frustrated. Everyone gets frustrated. There's miscommunication happens all the time. We're in Mercury retrograde with planets opposing planets and all kinds of stuff all the time. It's part of how we learn to use our best communication. Okay? And what your job is with your kids that are using language but not using it to communicate is to show them how that looks. This is how we deal with a problem. This is how you deal with when you can't get what you want. This is how you deal with when you have to wait, right? Because your kids will manipulate you with their behavior as long as you manipulate them with your behavior. If you're trying to redirect or work away from or distract your child away from their drama, then what's going to happen the next time they have drama? They're going to have it all the time. So again, if your child doesn't have the words they need to talk about their drama and they're in a dramatic stage, 2.5 is drama city. 2.5 to 3.5, drama city. And they'll elevate it to the point where you take some action. They will. Because that's all they know. They don't have the language they need. They haven't learned it yet. They're little. All they got's whatever they know. And it might be videos. It might be whacking you. If you've ever hit your child when they have a tantrum, expect to get hit when they get upset. And if that happens, you have to stop that behavior right away. Because you don't want it to escalate. Because kids learn from what they see you do. They will mirror your behavior. If you manipulate them, they will manipulate you. If you explain things to them and give them their time, they will try so hard, non-verbally, to explain things exactly what they want. Just show me. Just say, just show me. I'm not sure. Okay, you want a cup? Will you show me the one you want? Because you use those visual cues to help you. You want the blue one. Just like the waitress said, can you just tell me? And if they're not a good talker, don't make them do things they can't. Just have them show you in the way they've always shown you. How did you know they wanted the red cup the last time, right? To know that now they want blue. Okay? Hopefully that was able to help you. Please like this video. All right, moving on to the next one is Michelle. Michelle says, what would you recommend for older children? My son is a non-speaker and is 14 years old. He has a hard time tracking books when reading. Okay, so maybe there's some visual, I don't know why. Okay, so I do have lots of advice for older kids. So with older kids, in fact, I just met a 22-year-old late talker this past weekend when I was at the aquarium where I volunteer. We had an autism weekend, sensory Saturday thing. And this, I don't want to call him a little guy. He's shorter than me, but Anyway, he was born with a left hemiplegia and had a lot of late development, okay? But is walking and talking, and it's actually in this kid's education plan he's in a charter school, a special charter school through the Easter Seals, and in his IEP is to work at the aquarium. He loves the sharks. He wants to be a volunteer, and even if he's got to clean filters or whatever, I mean, that's literally people fight for that job at the aquarium because they're surrounded by scientists and it's a wonderful place to be. So on this kid's IEP, is that thing? And so that's what I was talking to his parents about it. And he's going to do an interview with me, hopefully. And so you'll be able to see too. Every parent of kids that are older than even 5 or 6, it's very, very important that you identify their superpower. Because if they're not great at communicating or walking or whatever, they're great at something. Maybe it's linear. Maybe it's a lot of these kids really are interested in physics. They want to see how things balance and spin. They're constructors, they're engineers. They might be musical. A lot of these kids are musical, and they love math, and they love patterns, and they love instruments. They have great hearing for pitches, things like that. Every kid, art, drawing, because a lot of kids love drawing. It just depends on their motor skills and all of those things as to what are the superpowers. So what you do then, when you identify what does my child love, is you empower them to improve their skills in that area. So while other people may be worried about what grades they're getting in algebra or if they can pass the reading tests, you want to motivate your child to be a better musical instrument player or karate or whatever they love. Because when you develop the mindset of motivation to be the best karate, person ever, to be the best basketball player, to be the best, usually independent sports and activities. I want to draw the best. I want to play the best. I want to do the best. When they get themselves in that mindset to constantly evolve a skill that they love, it empowers them for life. It gives them a reason to live. It gives them a reason to live. Because even if they're not thinking about getting a job or having a date or, leaving your house or living on their own, they are thinking about their superpower, okay? And when you get them motivated about that and they improve their skills to a level that they can demonstrate them in public, then you use that superpower to bridge your child's social communication into the public. Let's show dad your art. Let's show the mailman, the Amazon Prime guy, whoever's in your life, right? Excuse me, itchy nose. Whoever's in your life, you want to show them. You want to encourage your child to share their superpower with the people who love them, the people who they trust, right? Because they're going to get motivated by those people's reaction to their superpower. It will fuel their motivation to do better. And it will remind you to encourage your child that they do have to make an effort to share their wisdom with the world, right? It's not going to come out unless they bring it. It's their wisdom. That's why we focus on superpowers with older kids. And they don't have to be older than 10 to get started. As soon as your child starts to love something, not something that is repetitive like videos or things like that, you want to see what are they choosing to do. And like I said earlier, if your child wants to kick things. I have a parent who had a kid who tapped on everything. He was listening for the pitches, listening for the sounds. Is it a low or a high? They fill up water glasses and the kiddo's playing songs he remembers, right? Just figuring it out, sounding it out in his head, using his brain to develop the neuroplasticity, to kick it off, to get it going. My brain wants to learn something. I am motivated to dig in and try harder at this thing. And they might not care about anything else in the world, but they care about their superpower. They always do. They always do. And they'll do it all day, 5 hours a day. And then you use their superpower to turn their life. That's what we all need to do in our life. That's what I did. For so many years, I worked in other people's systems, crafting my superpower. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to use it this way with this family and this way with this family and this way with this family. I didn't follow the rules. I followed the intuitive. I used my historical information to bring to the table to use the current situation and to analyze it, to figure it out and realize what of that baggage do I need to bring here and what do I need to leave behind? What isn't appropriate for this family or that family or your family, right? Everybody in your own, you know this. And that's why we get jobs to do what we like to do, is because they are our superpower. If somebody asked me to be an accountant, they would be very disappointed with my services. Thank God I have an accountant, because I'm terrible with numbers. Some people are terrible with things. We all have perks. We all have bummers. We all have things that are tough for us, okay? And they're not always tough, but if we feel like they're tough, you know, everything's tough at the beginning. Before I learned to ride a bike, you know, I was a late bike rider. I didn't learn to ride a bike till I was like 6 or 7 because I didn't have one. I wasn't interested in it. In fact, I had a pogo stick that I learned to use, and I didn't care about riding a bike, but my mother needed me to ride a bike because she was schlepping me on the back of hers. We didn't have a car for a second car for our family. My father had it at work. My mother she was tired, it was getting too big. She needed me to ride a bike, even though it wasn't my interest. So it was finally 6 or 7. She said, "You're going to learn to ride a bike. I need you to do this." And it was hard until it was easy, because bike riding, once you learn, right? I was averse to it. Your kids are adverse to things, and there's other things they love. You got to help them use the skills that they love to motivate them that they can learn, that they can do things that are hard. And yeah, I was motivated because my mom's like, "Look, we want to go to the zoo. We want to go to the park. We want to go to these places. And I can't take you because you're getting too big. I need you to ride a bike." Okay. I had to step up. And overcome my fear. And, of course, my mom made it happy. She was like, "Come on, it's easy. You can do it, really. It's good. And it will help you in your life." And so I did it, and I learned it. And obviously, I'm grateful. And this is what happens with older kids, all the older kids. They become grateful because, you're helping them learn what they love and not making them do the things that they don't want without any kind of time spent to evolve in the way they want. Because, think about it. If your parents said you got to go to school to study a certain thing, and it's not your thing, but you got to do it because everybody in your family studied that thing, you'll go, you'll take your tests, and you'll get good grades because you'll disappoint your parents if you don't, right? You could be bringing that mindset into your child. Usually people have midlife crises and then they quit and do what they want. And that's what happened to me. I learned how to do what I want, and then the system broke down, and I said, "No, you know what? I'm going to use my superpowers." And I dug in and I learned how to do it. And when I started this, I'm like, well, I know I can help the little ones, but I don't know about the old kids. And it turns out that the older ones are easier to facilitate into amazing spoken language because they've been exposed. A 2-year-old doesn't know much. They've only been on the planet for 2 years. A 14-year-old's been around for 14 years. They know what they like. They know what they don't. They have opinions about things. They know in their mind what's right and wrong because you taught them that. They weren't learning nothing in 14 years, right? You want to elevate superpowers. That's always how you're going to get this done. Okay, I am not seeing any more comments coming in. So I just want to let you know one more time how to give back a little bit. So if you have, benefited any from this at all, please just like this video, watch some more videos, join me next week, come back and over again. That's always very helpful for the platform. Comment with your testimonial. If you really learned something, please tell me. Share it on social media. This video, any other videos, share. That's always very helpful. You can make a super chat donation to the platform. I always really appreciate that. And you can buy the book on Amazon, and I have an online program, and I have coaching programs. I work with families. So if you're really struggling, and that's how we're going to go. All right. So like I said, I'm not seeing any more questions coming today, and I see that there's a lot of people still watching. So thank you again for joining me. I'm going to show you one more time how to get more resources all over the place. You can read my book. There it is. It's called If It Isn't Fun, It Isn't Fun, with all those faces on it. My podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can hear my podcast. You can find comments, Facebook and MeWe are two. If you don't like Facebook, you can try on MeWe. Let's see. There's the YouTube channel and the parent coaching programs. So there you go. All of those ways to get a hold of me. If you have questions like if you're interested in working with me, I do a consult call with everybody to make sure that they are interested in coaching and learning what's to do to make changes, because that's what it's all about. Is if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And if you want to get something new, then language facilitation could help you. It has helped parents all over the world, whether your child is 2 or 20. It's really the way to get the spoken language that you're absolutely looking for. So, all right, let's see. I'm not seeing any more comments coming in today, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. We've already been at it just over an hour, and I know that it's kind of nice to hang out, and I love to hang out with you guys, but I'm going to let you get back on with your day. Don't forget to join me next week for another video. I'll be doing another topic for you, probably mindset matters next week. So we'll be digging more into mindset. Like I said, there are nearly 400 videos here on the channel for you to find more. I hope that these videos are helpful for you. I hope that these strategies are helpful for you. I hope these discussions and the stories I talk about my life and all of that stuff, that's kind of the coach that I am. And these videos kind of let me ramble on a little bit more about the sort of mindset and back end work behind these strategies, the more general strategies, and why parents fall into mindset traps. We all do. You can't beat yourself up about it. You got to give yourself a lot of grace. I'm sending you a lot of love and positivity because this is your summer. Do it. Get out there, play. We can now use the environmental opportunities this summer to help your child learn to talk about their superpowers. Figure out what their superpowers are if you don't know. They'll show you. Follow them around. Offer opportunities that will trick their fancy and things that are new. Explore animals, explore music, explore sports, explore math if your kid loves that kind of stuff, explore engineering, STEM kind of things, 3D printing, astronomy, all kinds of cool stuff that kids, you'd be surprised, are super interested in, especially when they're limited with their verbal skills. A lot of people give these kids the impression that they think they're dumb, right? And they're not. They're super, super smart because all of it's in there. It's stuck, right? It's stuck. So Priya says, thanks for your efforts. It is my pleasure, as always, to come and do these Coaching on the Couch videos. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me today. Always appreciate. Like this video. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.